Hi, I'm RJ with National Trash Valet, and I'm going to show you how you can start a valet trash business with just $500. Let's get into it. Do you think $500 isn't enough to start a business? Think again. So with Valet Trash, it's a service that you provide to apartment complexes where you service trash between 8 and midnight each night. You go door to door, you take the trash down, take it to the dumpster, sweep around, done. It's really a part-time job for full-time work. And with Valet Trash, you sell your services to an apartment complex, and then you only have to deal with one person and one invoice versus 300 potential residents or units that you'd have to be working with. So when you go to start a Valet Trash business, there are certain startup costs involved. And I want to show you how you can bootstrap this and start with essentially as little money as possible to see if this is something that's going to be good for your market or not. So startup costs, what you do need when you go in to look professional. Before even getting into LLCs and all that structure, because you don't have business yet to run invoices for. So you're just testing the market to go in and see if it's a viable service in your area. And you can set all that stuff up as you get to a point where you feel an agreement or a contract is coming. For startup costs, the first biggest one that you need is going to be your website, right? So a website is like a 24-hour business card that's just out there, it's open. It can be picked up within search engines. You can get free leads from it. You can refer people to it that you meet. It's just a really great way to establish you in the business field that you have, some notoriety with what you're going to do. So a website you can get through Squarespace for roughly $190 to $200 annually. They bill in kind of one clip. They give you a monthly price, but it's billed annually. You can build a really easy one-page website of just your service. What is Valet Trash? What you offer, door-to-door service, all that stuff with your contact information. So right away, that's your biggest expense out of the $500 to get up and running. With that too, you can usually get your own custom domain. So you could get whatever valettrashservice.com, right? So that's something that you need to think about as well. But that can kind of usually be added on for a couple dollars or included with it depending on your package size. Next, the startup cost that you need is Google Workspace. So you need an email provider, right? You can't use your personal email like your name at gmail.com. It just doesn't look professional. What you want is go to Google Workspace, and sometimes if you go through Squarespace, they will offer that as a package included. But otherwise, if you get Google Workspace by yourself, it runs between $17 and $20 a month for the business package, which I suggest because you get the Excel sheets, you get the Word docs, you get all those things that kind of you can pre-link in emails and all that stuff, right? So you get the same Google interface and you're allowed to use your custom branded URL. So if you did whatevertrashbusiness.com, you can use it as RJ at whatevertrashbusiness.com. So now it coincides your email with the Squarespace website that you set up or your personalized website that you had set up. The next is a phone line. So everyone's like, oh, I have a cell phone. Well, that's great. But what you want to do is you still want to block out some of that spam stuff, or do you really want to be giving out your personal number to all of these people? You can easily go to CallRail, which is like a VoIP service where you essentially buy phone numbers and you connect it to your cell phone. So you can get an 800 number if you wanted to. That actually costs additional money, but I would just start with a local number that you have, and you can go ahead and include so that when they call it, you can actually set up a prompting menu, press 1 for this, press 2 for this. And then that way it will ring to your cell phone, and you can actually program it on your cell phone that it's not the incoming number, but it's the number that is your business number. So now you can just save your business number in your phone as whatever Valet Trash, and it'll come up and you'll know right away it's someone calling that line that could be a potential lead or someone that you've already talked to that would like a sales meeting. So with the phone line, that roughly runs about $45 a month, but you get up to 5 lines. So you could have multiple lines if you want, but really if you just need the one, and you can initiate texting on it as well. That usually does, once again, cost extra, but at least the phone line and you're not giving out your personal information. And you can have it port to any number. So even if you're like, oh, well, I just switched cell phone numbers, I do whatever, you can easily go in and just change that. And CallRail will still port over to the number that you want and go through the prompt system that you set up. So it's a really great feature to have to make you look really professional. Next is the brand design, and I'd say logo design, right? You need a look and feel for what your company is, right? We're National Trash Valet. We have, a brand, we have color palette, we have all that kind of stuff. What I recommend is going to a website like Upwork.com. And on Upwork, you can actually put in a criteria of what you're looking for. I'm looking for a brand for this type of company. I need a logo, I need a color palette, and then you kind of let people bid on the job. They can either bid on the job, or you can say, I've got, $100 to put towards this item. So in this case, you could get a logo and color palette for $100, right? We'll mark it as $100. You put it out there, multiple people come and they apply, you look at their portfolio, you select the one that best works for you, you have a timeline, they complete the job, you own the rights to all of the images and the work that they did for you. It's a really great way to use contractors that have specialties in different areas on a really cost-effective basis. Outside of that, once you have your the website and the phone number and your email and your brand ready to go, because all that incorporates into each other, right? When you create the website, you're gonna be putting the brand and everything on that as well. Next is brochures and business cards. So you want something where when you walk into a complex, you can talk to the property manager or a sales team leader, you can give them a business card leave behind or a brochure leave behind. That's, it can be as easy as a one-page, once again, this is what we do and this is who we are, so that you can follow up. Because the biggest part of sales is a lot of times you're not going to get the sale right there. You have to follow up, hey, let me touch base with you in a week or 2 weeks, right? And then that way they can take it and they can go to their regional vice president if they want, or their owner of the complex, depending on how big of the complex is, if it's just owned by someone versus like a REIT. So those printed materials, I would earmark about $125 for, because those would be just handed out, right? And you'll have to, when you run out, you'll have to, mark up again and kind of go out on those as well. But they are a great tool to essentially create an elevator pitch with about, if you had to explain what you do in 30 seconds to someone, you can do it verbally, but now you need to do it visually. If they looked at one sheet, one page, do they know what you do in the Valet Trash sphere to help them grow revenue for that apartment complex? And then finally, we're already at that $500 a month mark. If you add all those numbers up, $192 for a website for Squarespace, $17 for Workspace, for Google Workspace for email, $45 a month for your phone line, your brand design up to $100, brochures and business cards and the additional $125. That puts us at roughly $475, $480 that you're inputting into this business to see if you can operate it as a Valet Trash business in your area that you live in. The last thing I would do, this one is actually free. So once you get all those set in place and you start to go out and you get leads and you come back, you can have a spreadsheet, which once again is through your workspace that you can keep track of, but you can actually sign up for Mailchimp, which is, it sends, you can send recurring emails. So within that, you can set up essentially a chain, right, of like email 1, 2, 3, 4. They'll go out after every, 4 weeks. So then that way you don't have to do it manually, you can automatically do it. And the beautiful part with Mailchimp is that it allows you to have your first 500 contacts for free. So you put them in, you can send it out, they can be in your sequence of emails going out. You can actually check and see what email and who has opened it, which then notifies you, well, maybe this person is a warm lead and they're thinking about, progressing with this service and I need to follow up more in person or through the phone, right? So once you have those basic marketing, branding, website, all that kind of stuff ready to go, like you can go out and start accruing or acquiring the business that you need to grow and operate. So, and at that point, when you start to go out and you get a feel for the market and you start to get meetings and you get close to an agreement with, a contract agreement with someone, that's when you can go, all right, I can go through LegalZoom and start my LLC and I can rush it and have it, within a week or two. I can do all these other things that I need to, that now I know this is a viable business. So now you've only had to put $500 in and your time, right? And to be totally honest, the hardest part of this business is sales. It's going out and finding the leads that, might already have Valet Trash and are just looking to switch, that don't know anything about it and need to be, educated on what the service is and how you can produce revenue for them and their bottom line, which would look great for their property management company. So like I said, you can easily start this business for $500 to get bare bones out there, to test the market, to see if it's something that is worthwhile for you in whatever city that you live in. So if you'd like more information, I have a training program over at nationaltrashvalet.com. Hopefully we'll see you over there. Have a great one.